You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? You know I miss you when we're not talking. Oh, don't give me that look. I do miss you. What a weekend. Yes, I know you guys are all looking at me like, you have 3 days off. You don't do a show on Friday. I may not be on air, but trust me, this past weekend was too strong. I had so much going on. But I'm here, and boy, oh boy, was it a weekend for news. Now, I think the only thing we didn't have, cross my fingers, please, don't let it happen right now, a North Korean missile launch. I think everything else happened. Oh yeah, no joke. We had the UN Security Council on Friday on North Korea, and this was a ministerial. What does that mean? That means it wasn't U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley sitting at the microphone. It was Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Everybody sent the bigwigs for this one. This wasn't just, oh yeah, let's let our ambassador handle it. Nope. This was full on, all out chaos. And it was I listened to almost all of it. But it was absolutely some of the most intense diplomatic rhetoric. Now, I'm still working on the North Korean representatives' replies because, as always, when North Korea tries to speak English, it's rough. I haven't decided if I'm going to torture you with that tonight. Yeah, the words North Korea and torture in the same sentence, imagine that. Or if we're going to hold that back until later this week. Now, if I can get my act together, I'm going to do a doubleheader Wednesday. Because Nikki Haley proved the theory of the case that Iran has been supplying missiles to the Houthi rebels who have been launching against the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as other people. And she held a press conference with the help of the Department of Defense with declassified pieces of rockets with Iranian markings. Now, I'm not going to get all up in that tonight because, trust me, North Korea has given me, as usual, has given me enough fodder. In fact, I have comments from just about every possible person at that was at this ministerial. This ministerial, and I know you guys are going, yeah, was so important. Antonio Gutierrez. Who? The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez himself was at this UN Security Council meeting. Let's see if I can play a little bit of that for you.
And his visit came indeed at the end of a difficult period. In 2017, the DPRK conducted activities related to its nuclear and ballistic missile programs at an alarming and accelerated pace. On September the 3rd, it concluded its 6th nuclear explosive test, involved what its claim was, and I quote, a two-stage thermonuclear weapon, end of quote. This test caused a seismic event of magnitude 6.1.
All right, he goes on for quite some time, but does that tell you the significance of this UN Security Council meeting that happened Friday? Not to blow any smoke on the one that happened today or the previous ones, but when you have Secretary of State Tillerson, the Secretary General himself of the United Nations, and all these other people sitting around a table talking about one topic and one topic alone, it gets pretty intense, friends. Now, yeah, that was the show prep you heard. There is no way I'm going to get through all this tonight. In fact, it wasn't planned that I would. Yeah, I'd have to kick Don on the air, off the air, and he's doing a 90-minute special. Yeah, he's got a Christmas special for us. Who knows what this one's going to be? Maybe he's got Franken the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I'm not sure. But we do have a lot to get through. Boy, do we have a lot. I'm going to start with something that isn't a nuclear weapon in North Korea, but very well may be one of the biggest things out there. What would you say if I said the words Bitcoin and North Korea in the same sentence? Bitcoin? Yes. Bitcoin. Now, we're going to start with WannaCry, but this isn't going to be the end of it because trust me, there's more to it. North Korea has been blamed directly for the WannaCry cyber attack. Now, for those of you who have let this slip their mind, on as to what it was ransomware. Your files were locked away, encrypted, and they wanted $300 worth of Bitcoin sent to a link. And if you didn't pay within a couple days, it would double. And if you didn't pay within 7 days, supposedly you'd never get your files back. The attack was widespread and cost billions. And yes, White House Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert has written that North Korea is directly responsible. Now, that's not the only thing going on with North Korea and Bitcoin. But while I fish through this and find that article, I've got an audio clip.
A decade ago, we were worried primarily with North Korea about, one, a single actor, and number two, a conventional war that might take place. Today, if you look at most strategists when they're concerned about North Korea, they realize that any conflict we may have multiple actors involved, and we're certainly looking at multiple domains. No longer are we limited to conventional war. We may very well be looking now at nuclear, cyber, and even space challenges that we have.
Yes, and that audio was from March of this year. Yes, you heard me. Now, here's the other thing. North Korea has launched a malicious spearphishing campaign using the lure of a job opening for a CFO at a European-based cryptocurrency company. And then they basically, once they have you lured in, well, what do you think they do? It is your Bitcoin they're after. Why is North Korea so interested in Bitcoin? It evades sanctions. Remember, Iran, I'm going to mention Iran for just a second. Iran didn't have the advantage of Bitcoin when they were trying to evade sanctions. Bitcoin-seeking hackers are using old-school tricks to socially engineer cryptocurrency exchange executives. And the fake job lure is tied to the Lazarus phishing campaign. And you open an email-attached Microsoft Word document. Yeah, how many of us are suspicious of a Word document? I know I routinely open them. And then, of course, you get the enable edit functions. Well, this enables the macros in Word, so a malicious macro hidden inside the document can execute. It triggers a remote access Trojan rat in the background. Once this has been installed, attackers can use it to install additional malware, such as keystroke loggers and password stealers. And what are they after? They're after your Bitcoins. Now, North Korea is not alone. I mean, first of all, this currency is on the rise. This thing is a rocket set on rails straight up. And approximately 1/3 of the North Korean economy, 1/3 of North Korea's gross domestic product is believed to emanate from hacking. I will let that sink in. 1/3 of everything North Korea produces is believed to come from hacking. Online attacks don't know geography. And most people aren't going to be suspicious of a Word document. I know I'm normally not. So what can you do? Well, you can disable macros in Microsoft Office for starters. Make sure you just don't go opening random email attachments. Come on, Common Sense 101. And you should implement two-factor authentication on all key systems. And it's almost a sure bet that anyone who dabbles in cryptocurrency will be at increasing risk for attack. Oh, yeah. Now, I don't have any additional audio to go with that. But I do think that is pretty strong language. So I'm going to move on to a nice clip from the South Korean UN representative at this past Friday's meeting.
With a sense of urgency, we should make North Korea perceive without a doubt that it will pay heavily for its provocations, that it will never be accepted as a nuclear weapon state, and that dialogue for denuclearization is the only viable option. The Republic of Korea reaffirms its solid commitment to achieve the denuclearization of North Korea and the establishment of permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula.
Yes, South Korea wants peace. No joke. That's what they want. Who doesn't want peace? All right. Here's the other thing. We're talking the United Nations. A lot of the experts are looking at this. A lot of these UN sanctions kick in even harder in March. That's when Resolution 2375 will take effect. And that's the one that cuts 90% of the trade and 30% of the oil and everything else. And as North Korea is pouring more and more blood and treasure into his nuclear weapons program, unfortunately, there is one group of people, and only one, that will suffer. The average people. Now, this isn't to say that the pampered pooches of Pyongyang are going to escape his wrath. Remember I mentioned that he visited the sacred mountain not long ago? Well, it seems he only goes there when he needs to ponder high-level executions. Yep, North Korea's had another round of purges. And who's taking the hit? Well, it is a lot of the high-ranking aides and pampered pooches of Pyongyang. Hwang Pyong-so, a vice marshal, held the most senior position in North Korea's military. He hasn't been seen since October 13th. And Kim Jong-un has been sending out his death squads. And a rare inspection on the Bureau was conducted on the General Political Bureau, led to a report that had an impure attitude. By the way, impure attitude, yes, thought crime, is punishable for anything the leadership deems it worthy of punishing you with for it, including execution. Now, Mount Pataku, I'm sure I'm butchering the name. the mountain that Kim Jong-un visits indicates he's probably trying to make a significant decision. He's visited the mountain before, prior to executing his former defense chief, Yang Chol. Now, of course, Kim's visit was supposedly to celebrate the big achievements in November. However, let's just simplify this. A leopard doesn't change its spots, a tiger doesn't change its stripes, and a lunatic doesn't wise up. All right, got a couple more clips from this past UN Security Council. And just a couple of them.
Most recently, the president called President Xi personally and asked him for China to cut the oil supplies off to North Korea to increase this pressure.
Well, folks, I can pretty much guarantee that's not going to happen. Absolutely not. And you're sitting me going, how can you guarantee that? Well, I'm going to say China's picked sides. How can I say that? This is, December. How do I know where China's going to come down on anything? I don't have any people in the Chinese government whispering secrets in my ears. But when China flies 5 Chinese military aircraft into Seoul airspace, and causes Seoul to scramble defense forces and all kinds of other things, I'd say that's a pretty good sign China isn't on Seoul's side, which means they're not on our side, which means, God forbid, this ends in an armed conflict. China may very well be on North Korea's side, which is the whole reason the Korean War drug on for 3 years and ended in a ceasefire. Yes, I said ceasefire. There was no peace treaty. I cannot reiterate that enough. South Korean officials used a military hotline to ask their Chinese counterparts to confirm the plane's identities, and Chinese officials confirmed they were military aircraft. And then the South Koreans conducted emergency sorties until they confirmed the Chinese planes had exited the Korean Air Defense Identification Zone. All right, if you are flying military jets into another country's airspace without permission, I'm going to say you're not an ally. Anybody see any reason to disagree with that one? And as far as Moon visiting Jinping for 4 days, it halted a serious deterioration in bilateral ties. Otherwise, it was fluff and stuff. Because I think China is trying to sneak up on us, let us think they'll go along with us, and then I think that they are going to turn against us hard. All right, folks, we have reached the time to pay those radio station bills. And I have been asked about what thoughts on, quote unquote, the islands they're building, which I'm guessing refers to South China Sea and China's real life version of Minecraft. Yes, Minecraft is real. Well, at least if you're China. All right, folks. I am going to pay those radio station bills. And as I have been doing with most of my shows every night during Hanukkah, I'm going to treat you to some Hanukkah music on our way to the commercial break.
Come, let us join in celebration of victories won so long ago. The temple was rededicated, the flame still bright with freedom's glow.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Come let us join in celebration of victories won so long ago. The temple was rededicated.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. And yours truly grabbed some caffeine. Oh yeah, I had to get my dose of caffeine while we were at commercial break. What can I say? All right. Now, we're going to talk about the South China Sea. I do not have time to cover everything I've ever said on the South China Sea. But we're going to give you a quick thumbnail version and kind of tell you where it's at and what's going on in the broad brush strokes because, yeah, China is militarizing the South China Sea. Now, let me remind you folks, China was taken to the International Court of Arbitration over its real-world Minecraft, aka the building of islands where there were none, in the South China Sea. Do you know what China said? And they lost. They lost. Wasn't, well, it was one simple answer, and it was,
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That's what they were told. You're wrong. Fail. Now, China then said, so what? We are going to do what we've always done and what we want to do. In other words, you can't stop us. Nobody is going to stop us. Now, this isn't something I like to hear when a country is literally taken to court, or anyone is taken to court, they didn't abide by the decision. Not only did they not abide by the decision, okay? Not only did they not abide by it, they literally thumbed their nose at the decision. And not a little bit, a lot. They basically said, not only do we not care, but we really don't care. And they absolutely snubbed their nose at the International Court of Arbitration. They have ignored everything possible I think this is an old clip on this topic. I'm going to play it and we're going to find out.
Voices of dissent in Hong Kong squashed by order of Beijing. Sources telling Reuters that China's Communist Party is working behind the scenes of the city's local election.
Okay, that was about Taiwan and Hong Kong. Sorry, I was looking for something and I tripped across one that was at least titled for the right area of the world, so I had to give it a shot. Yeah, I need to take a full 2 days. You guys have no idea how many audio clips I have amassed. And literally sort them all out. And just as a sneak peek for all of you guys, Jesse's POV, the show that you know and love, is getting a bit of a makeover come January. Same topics, same crazy show host, but we're going to change a few things up. Hint, maybe even the name. But I promise you, it'll still be me right here playing Connect the Dots. So, all right. China's entered the next stage in its permanent infrastructure on the disputed islands. We're talking radar towers, missile defense systems, and we're not talking just a little tiny section of ocean that they're trying to claim. 72 acres, and that's just their Minecrafting. That doesn't count the water around them. And there's 6 other countries that have legitimate, in fact, in my mind, more legitimate claims to these islands. Now, the South China Sea is highly contested. It's got a lot of natural resources, and it's in the Pacific Ocean, and it's right along the trade routes. And China basically says, mine, mine, mine. And Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, and Brunei have competing claims. And China goes, it's normal for China to carry out peaceful construction and deploy necessary defense equipment in its own territory. They see the entire South China Sea as theirs. They do not care that all these other countries say, that's not yours, that's mine. They don't care. And as such, they deny these other countries financial, military gains. Which is why you will note that our military has conducted a number of freedom of navigation exercises in the South China Sea. And if you recall me saying this, and I have said this, and I could probably pull the audio if I had the time, I have said China doesn't mind that North Korea is over there acting a fool because they're busy in the South China Sea. So while everybody's watching the midget with the nuclear missiles, China's over here going, Minecraft, Minecraft, Minecraft. Pay no attention to the Minecraft. And they have now militarized the islands, which they said they weren't going to do. They have literally broken their word, gone against the ASEAN conference. They have gone against the International Court of Arbitration. And they've supposedly agreed to a code of conduct in the disputed waters. But it was an oral agreement. Now, do you know how long those oral agreements tend to last when they're between countries? About as long as anybody remembers them, which is usually a matter of months. Yes, it's usually a matter of months. And that's one of those things I don't want to see. By the way, China is now mad at Australia. China's naval chief has told its Australian counterpart that the country's actions in the South China Sea run counter to the general trend of peace and stability in the disputed waterway. Why? Australia expressed concern over the South China Sea and China's minecraft, and Australia has previously drawn criticism for this because they are also conducting freedom of navigation exercises and surveillance flights. Now, they've never done one all by themselves, but they go with us when we do them. And China's Navy commander told Australian Vice Admiral Tim Barrett, and I'm not going to try the Chinese name. I have to practice them beforehand. I didn't practice this one, so we're just going to say, China's Navy commander told us, the Australian Vice Admiral, that at present the situation in the South China Sea was steady and good. And Australia's like, no, it's not. Now, if you recall, we actually had a submersible vehicle in the South China Sea doing scientific research. And it was not a spy thing. It was checking on water temperatures, currents, things like that. And China just drove along and scooped it up. That is not the act of an ally. Now, they did eventually give it back, but trust me, there was weeping and gnashing of teeth. There was much consternation. Yes, I'm throwing some big words at you just because, well, I guess I'm in the mood to. There were a lot of things going on. And in short, the Chinese gave it back, but they weren't happy about it. They weren't happy at all. I am looking to see if I have anything on it. I don't know that I do. You know me, I need to organize. You should see my audio clips. They are literally in these large folders that just say show prep. And then once in a while, I will actually have a few, well, I've done it with North Korea now, moved off to another folder. But it's one of those, I need to take a day or more and go through all of my audio clips, because even I don't know what some of these say. I could literally do a whole show with audio clip roulette. In fact, let me know if that's something. If that's something you'd be interested in hearing. Just one of those odd shows. Maybe I could do it as a year-end special. Audio clip roulette. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Because that'd be an easy show. That would be a very easy show. And I apologize for the computer noise. I have a new antivirus and I'm still teaching it what's normal. So that was wait a minute, something's wrong. No, it's not. All right, so back to, I have one other story I want to touch on. And this one's kind of a fun story. Yes, I actually have a fun story. We're not talking about anybody getting hurt. No military aircraft. In fact, I'm talking about a millennial. When is the last time you heard me talk about a millennial? Anybody? And I don't mean a lunatic millennial. I mean a sane one. Or at least I hope he's sane. Any clue about the last time I talked about a millennial? All right. Basti Fantasi, Messiah, and WizKid. These are just some of the nicknames given to the new Austrian Chancellor, Sebastian Kurz. He is 31. He is the world's youngest leader. And yes, 31 years old, and he is the leader of Austria. What? And they had another leader that died in 2008 that was very popular. And he was a little bit older, but yeah. Kurz is now literally the leader of a country. And this guy is 31, and he's part of the People's Party. And it's more of a, quote, hardline movement. And it is definitely, they want to increase their security. And they want to combat illegal immigration. How does that sound? Yeah. If that doesn't sound conservative. Sebastian Kurz was sworn in Monday as Austria's new chancellor. He's Europe's youngest leader at 31. The Austrian People's Party formed a coalition with the Nationalist Freedom Party, and it's expected to move the country's politics to the right. Now, about 6,000 people did protest, and they, of course, pulled the usual, we don't want a Nazi, we don't want this, we don't want that. His party has been traditionally centrist. Kurz has moved it to the right, particularly on the issues of migration and Muslims. However, he has largely avoided inflammatory rhetoric. Yeah, I'm not talking about our politicians. I'm talking about this guy in Austria. It's amazing. So he wants to end illegal migration, cut government bureaucracy, reduce taxes, and create a new national climate and energy strategy. I think those are pretty lofty goals for a 31-year-old. I mean, really? The guy is 31, and he is now head of a country. I don't know about you, but this is going to be interesting to watch. Because I don't know what any of my listeners were doing when they were 31, but I certainly wasn't running a country. You know, I don't think any of you were running a country. And I am pulling up his website now and crossing my fingers here. Thank you. Translate. All right. Just pulling up his website, waiting for it to load. All right, it did not bring up a translate on this page, so I'm going to have to see what I can do to get it to do that. But let me see about Wikipedia. It's a good secondary source. So he was born in Vienna. He's an only child. He's Roman Catholic. Dad was an engineer. Mom was a teacher. He did do his obligatory military service. And yes, in 2005, he studied law in Vienna. And then in 2009, he got involved in the youth branch of the Austrian People's Party. Then he moved to Vienna City Council. Yes, he started at the local level. And in 2011, he was appointed to the newly created post of State Secretary for Integration. It was part of the Ministry of Interior. And in 2013, he became Austria's foreign minister. And he went to Croatia and supports their accession to the European Union. He's hosted rounds of negotiations on the nuclear program of Iran. I mean, I'm sorry, this kid has a stellar background. Just to be in those places, there's pictures of him with Hassan Rouhani, not that I'm a big Iran fan, but John Kerry and Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov. I mean, this kid has done it all. And I'm sitting here going, wow. This is a millennial who did not act like a special snowflake, did not sit on his six and wait for the world to hand him something. And he got off his six and worked for it. And I've got to say one thing. Whatever this kid's background, whatever his politics, agree or disagree, let him have his moment in the sun. He's worked hard for it. I mean, he didn't wait for somebody to hand him something. He went out and worked for it. All right, we just have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to make a couple of quick announcements. Yes, I am revamping the entire show. I'm not even sure if it's going to be called Jesse's POV when I come back next year. It'll still be the same thing. Yes, I know that there is more information about the fallen soldiers from Niger. I am waiting for the full report next month. I see no reason to speculate on what is going to be in a report when I can wait a month and have the full report. All right? I think that makes sense. Yes, I know there has been a ton of news on North Korea and Iran I didn't get to. Don't worry. We're going to get there. We will get there. I am actually working on trying to get a doubleheader lined up for Wednesday. So you will have to put up with me, not just from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, but 10 to 11, because Stafford is off this Wednesday. He is going to be celebrating the holidays. All right, folks, as a reminder, you can follow me on Twitter at Jesse's POV. And you can shoot me an email at the station at jessespov at KLRNRadio.com. And for anybody out there who is an author, yes, published author, self-traditional, shoot me an email. We'll get you on Coffee Shop. I'm starting to plan next year's episodes. And this could be fun. You know, it's a much more laid back two-person interactive thing. So if you are an author, You want to come on, get an interview on Coffee Shop? Just shoot me an email. All right, folks. On that note, I'm out of here, and I will see you guys next time.
Celebration of victories won so long ago. The temple was rededicated, the flames still bright